I'll take responsibility for fixing these things, but these are folks that just point out problems and don't do anything. These are folks that, again, drug 3 governors in front of them on immigration. You heard the DHS secretary yesterday is complaining with a made-up number that 50% of our Somali neighbors are here on fraudulent visas, and that's my fault. You would think if you're the Secretary of Homeland Security that you would know the state has nothing to do with the issues of visa, that it's the federal government. So I will gladly comply with what they need. I would fully expect them not to do what Americans are asking them to do, reduce costs, do your job that you need to do in getting us a budget, invest in research, but that's not what we're getting out of them. This is just more distract. This is what you do. This is what President Trump, the reason President Trump is throwing racial slurs out, the reason he's throwing horrific slurs at me on Thanksgiving Eve or to Ilhan Omar is because he's failing on every front. It's because it's collapsing around him. And so we'll do our best to keep looking out for Minnesota. We can put out anything on there. Yes, you know there's... These are new programs, a lot of them. Some happened ahead of time. And I think for all of us, there have been these incidents, whether it's in Medicaid, Medicare, whatever it would be. And as soon as they're brought forward, we address them. We have commissioners that deal with them in each of that. We have the professionals who deal with them in each of it. When we bring them forward and we believe it's happened, we refer them to the BCA, who then refers them for prosecution. I can tell you one thing is these are programs I care deeply about. These are programs, and I have a track record of doing this as being very fiscally responsible and fiscally conservative. I can assure you that there is no one angrier about this than me, because I know what the Republican response is to cut these programs. Just cut them in their entirety, and then we won't have to worry about them. So rest assured, as soon as I find out about this, and if it were up to me when we were talking about doubling penalties or whatever, fine by me. You put these people as long as you want. We'll be there to help.
Do you have any concerns about the reports about how agents are conducting business? And looking ahead, what worries you about the shape this effort could take in this?
Everything. Everything worries me about the way this immigration reform is happening. Masked folks showing up, not indicating who they are, and I want to thank the leaders, and I want to thank Chief O'Hara and others who made note of this, randomly terrorizing people. And Donald Trump made it clear. If there's no other story in Minnesota, the President of the United States called Minnesotans garbage and a hellhole. These are doctors, these are teachers, these are entrepreneurs, these are children without any evidence whatsoever. And so I worry deeply about this. We're getting no communication. And I want to be clear. The folks they bring in here aren't the folks we normally work with. Our law enforcement, State Patrol, BCA, they have working relationships with people. These folks come in and do it and cause massive chaos. And then when Minnesotans step up and express their First Amendment rights, we have to send our people in, and they're confused on why St. Paul Police, Minneapolis Police, State Patrol is showing up on this, because we have no idea, and our responsibility is to make sure that they're safe. So I have to tell you, this is absolutely unprecedented. What I will tell you is it appears very little's being done. They bring these folks in from Texas or somewhere like that. I'm sure they're too cold to get out of their cars to harass people, but they're doing it in New Orleans. It's all about show. It's not about, they demonized an entire group, potentially 60,000 people, based on racial profiling. There are only about 300 people with the protective status that were here. So mothers, fathers, college students home on Thanksgiving. At the same time, we give a pardon to one of the biggest drug importers to the United States and the ex-Honduran president. And when it comes to fraud, by the way, we should be prosecuting these people in Minnesota, because you know what I fear about? Pardons from this guy. One of the biggest frauds, billions of dollars committed on this. A jury in America sentenced that guy to 40 years in prison. He served 12 days and Donald Trump gave him a full pardon. So if you're concerned about fraud, and if the Republican friends come up here and start talking, they need to be asked, are you okay with that pardon? Are you okay with the president calling our neighbors garbage? Are you okay with him referring to Minnesota as a hellhole, unfactually untrue? This creates danger. And I'll tell you what, in my time on this, I'd never seen this before. People driving by my house and using the R word in front of people. This is shameful. And I have yet to see an elected official, a Republican elected official, say, you're right, that's shameful. He should not say it. So look, I'm worried. We know how these things go. They start with taunts, they turn to violence. So deeply concerned. The good news here in Minnesota is a budget that works, smart budgeting over the last few years that led us to a solid position. We will tackle crime, whether it's drug crime, whether it's fraud crime, and we will do it based on the individual who commits it, not a generalization to a group of people. And in spite of the headwinds we're up against, Minnesota ranks economically, economic growth, happiness, number of people insured, education levels, near the very top. So I'll tell you what, I have no interest in having this state look like Oklahoma or Mississippi. And if folks are going to commit crimes here, thinking because our generous spirit and our programs that we have is going to give them some kind of cover, they are sadly mistaken. So great.